1959, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, when we were doing a lot of work trying to figure out how to detect air crews at very high altitudes and escape from aircraft or spacecraft or whatever. And we didn't know anything in those days about what went on above 40,000 feet. We just didn't have any airplanes that were any higher than that. So we had to turn to some different methods of getting experimental people up to high altitudes so that we could study what was going on as far as the pressure suits and the loss of protection. What happened, what started all this was in Roswell in 1947, as most of you probably recall. They found some pieces, a rancher found some pieces of material on his ranch, and it was strange looking to him. He didn't know what to do with them, so he took them over to Roswell, to the Army Aviation, or it was still the Army Air Forces then. And they sort of, I think, kind of yanked him a little bit and said, well, we don't know, it's kind of funny looking stuff. It could have come from anywhere. And that's where the whole thing about the UFOs got started, this rancher bringing this materials in. And it wasn't until about 1980, from 47, where UFO reports were just rampant in the Roswell area. And about 1980, all of a sudden, bodies started showing up. And I think the people in Roswell had finally figured out that that was a source of revenue for them. So we had to contend with these. And in about 1988, the congressman from New Mexico wrote the Air Force, the Department of Defense, and said, we know for certain, because we've seen it, we know for certain that the Air Force has picked up alien bodies and transported them to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and they're being held in a liquid nitrogen bath in the basement of Hangar B. We want the Air Force to come clean. So based on that, since it came through Congress, the Air Force started an extensive investigation to see what, if anything, that they're reporting having seen and picked up and that sort of thing could be traced back to something that we were doing. And of course we were doing some things at Fulgham Air Force Base in New Mexico, which is west of Roswell. And this is what we were investigating with the equipment that we had. This gondola was a one-man gondola that carried to high altitude by a balloon. Joe Kittinger wrote this, and several other people did. We almost lost Joe because we miscalculated the effect of the sun shining on the gondola, and got too hot inside, and I think his body temperature went up to about 105 before we got him back down again. So we learned some lessons then about how to protect people in space. We were doing a lot of full pressure suit work. This is a suit that was designed to go in the X-20 rocket plane that the Air Force program had. And that's me in the suit, and I did some experimental parachute work jumping with this suit. So, you know, if you work really close up, it could be mistaken for not exactly a human situation. We were also dropping a lot of mannequins. And we would put parachutes and equipment on these, kick them out the back of an airplane. They would fall to earth, and the equipment would work or wouldn't work. And then we had to go out and pick them up off the desert, the mannequins. Well, anybody that saw that could, you know, claim that that was a body that they saw picked up. Another alien. We were flying and experimenting with some very unique balloons, because we needed things that we could get to very high altitude, over 100,000 feet, and do that sort of thing. And that's not a common looking shape there. Here's one that really got people's attention. It's called a zero pressure balloon. If we decide we want a balloon to take a payload up and float at 85,000 feet, for as long as we stay up there, we put that amount of gas in the balloon. When it expanded, as it grows in altitude, it would be bigger than a house, much bigger than a house. And when it got to the float altitude we wanted, the gas that expanded would come out these tubes in the bottom. They were just open tubes, and it would just stay right at altitude. We can imagine what this must have looked like from the ground on a moonlight night or in the daytime. So that was probably mistaken too. 3 of us were picked to train. We were picked to train to do some of this altitude parachute work. And then when we could get up there was a balloon. So we knew we were going to be flying out of Fulgham. We were going to be flying in airspace where airplanes were flying. There weren't many at night. So we thought we'd better get cleared with the NACA. We went down to Cincinnati and said, we would like a balloon license. And they said, who are you guys? There's such thing as a balloon license. So we talked to them and said, well, look, we're going to be flying up there. The airplanes have to give way and let us get by. And they said, all right, here's what we'll do. We'll give you a student pilot's license. But in order to do that, you've got to have so many landings, so many takeoffs, so much nighttime, and some navigation. So, okay, we'll go out to Fulgham and we'll do that. Well, the vehicle that we did it in is a metal gondola that 3 of us, Joe Kittinger took this picture, by the way, for the 3 of us, Bill Kaufman and myself, weighs 800 pounds. We could hang all kinds of equipment on it. We could take off, we decided we'd only fly at night, so we took off every night about 10 o'clock and just floated until daylight. And we had tracking people to come look for us and pick us up when we got back on the ground. But it's so sensitive that when you reach the, you could, if I wanted to level off about this high above the ground, I could valve gas until I descended to just about where I wanted to do, and then I could unload ballast, take the weight off, and I could stabilize. I could get 2 feet off the ground and just go across the desert. And our ballast was BBs in a burlap bag, and I had a Dixie cup. You just pick up the beads and just valve a little bit, dump a little ballast, and away you go. So this is on the ground. This is inflating the balloon. We did it in daylight. There's a balloon ready for launch. It's 39,000 cubic foot helium. And when that gets to altitude, it's pretty spectacular too. As you can see, that was shot at sunrise, and the sun would hit that balloon long before the sun hit the Earth on the surface. So it was pretty spectacular to see it floating across the desert. So the 19th, we took off from Fulgham. We flew all night long and landed just north of Guadalupe Peak in El Paso, about 87 miles. Recovered the balloon. We're on the ground. I'm valving gas, holding the lanyard. When the gas is down enough that the harness and the parachute that's attached to it can be recovered. And the way we got away from this is an explosive bolt, and this is the key to what happened. There's an explosive bolt that held the chute to the balloon. And by pressing a switch in the gondola, it would blow that bolt, the balloon would just go sailing off, and we'd be left sitting on the ground. On the 21st, we took off again at night. We were going to fly and land at Roswell. You think you can't navigate, you can just navigate pretty well like a sailboat does. Choose the altitude you want with the winds blowing the way you want to go, and that's the way you travel with it. As we approached daylight, I'm not used to this thing, the way we would land had to be done with the wind blowing less than 10 miles an hour. If the wind got above 10 miles an hour, you're in real trouble. You have to stay up all day long and wait for it to die down during the night. Look at this guy, 800 pounds, and think of it as a tin can. Because when we started approaching the ground, the wind had already come up, it's about 10 knots. And the technique is to let the gondola hit the ground and then blow the bolt just as it hits the ground, because it takes your lateral speed off. Well, good old Bill Kaufman here, he hits the switch and we're still about that high off the ground. So we're moving this way, hits the switch, we hit the ground and it starts doing this, tin canning. Wound up upside down, all three of us inside the gondola still. The only problem is my head was between the edge of the gondola and the ground. Okay. And it crushed that helmet very badly, as a matter of fact. Recovery crew picked us up, warded off the farmer who was out there just madder than hell because we scared his cows. And took us over to the hospital, flew us over to the hospital at Roswell. It was a strategic air command base with nuclear bombers at that time. It was absolutely forbidden to land there without prior approval. And here are three guys claiming to be Air Force balloon pilots here into the hospital on Saturday morning. So they thought, oh, these guys have been out of some big party. But they wouldn't let us in the hospital at all. And I was not in pain, but my head down because the gondola had ruptured the blood vessels in the bruised the nerves in my scalp, and my head started swelling. And it got, according to Joe, about the size of a basketball. My eyes swelled shut, turned black, the face turned yellow from the blood draining down. And when they finally let us in the hospital, the commanding officer said, you do something about those guys and get them off my base. I don't want them here any longer than they have to be. So they flew the airplane in, and but this is weeks later, but you can see what happened here. They used ace bandages. When we got back to Holland, the flight surgeon said, we're going to get some of that fluid out of your head, or you're going to get scar tissue and you will just be like that forever. So he didn't have a syringe big enough to do what he wanted to do, so he went down to the veterinary's office, got a horse syringe. And the needle in the horse syringe is about that long, about that big. And he stuck it in my head and started draining fluid out. And then he used the ace bandage to keep it like that. So for weeks later, that's what it looked like. But at the Roswell Hospital, where there were a lot of civilians working in the hospital as technicians and nurses and that sort of thing, they saw me, and they saw me get carried out of the hospital in a gurney, put in an airplane, and off we went. Obviously, to Wright Patterson and a nitrogen bath, which is pretty cold, pretty shivery. So anyway, that got folded into the whole alien story and got lots of publicity. And the Air Force then said, when they published their report, they found me, and they published this report, the Roswell story, Air Force document. And when I got home from work that afternoon in Ernie, there was a car full of reporters sitting out there. Wound up on the New York Times. Wound up, as a matter of fact, on the History Channel. That's a report. And the History Channel. You may have seen it now. That was on the History Channel about, what, now a couple of years ago? About 3 years ago, I guess. And they still show it about every 6 weeks or so. So anyway, the end result is that Joe Kittinger was the only one who got to make the altitude jumps. And this is where he went up to 102,000 feet and free fell all the way down to 10.
Yeah.
And that has never been exceeded yet. A lot of people have tried it, but nobody's ever beat that record. All right? So now you've met the real alien.